Hoy there, it's Skyward Shield. Hopefully I'll have no echo in the background this time. I am joined with Mr. Bill again. Say hello, Bill.
Hey.
Yeah, I have two headsets on. I have my microphone headset wrapped around my neck, and I'm holding the mic or else it'll touch my face. And then I have my big headphones on until this headset comes back. This is the setup for now.
Right.
Anyway, Bill's kind of pressed for time, but he'll have enough so we could talk about without a subject, which I pushed till next week. Next week's subject is going to be is rushing in again? Is it no longer about the pass now? But we'll talk about that next week. Anyway, let's
Right.
get started with the games in order, kind of. Well, we're gonna go with the games we care about, and then the one that needs discussion because it's incredible.
Oh man, yep.
Okay, first we're going with Bill's game. I saw the last 4 minutes of that, and
That
that was incredible.
that was an amazing 4 minutes of time. Basically, the Lions defense played amazingly well against the New Orleans Saints. Their streak of 17-point and under games is over with, but they still held Drew Brees and that offense in check. Drew Brees and the Saints only scored 2 touchdowns and 3 field goals. If you can do that to the Saints offense, good things are coming to you. And the Saints have been struggling a little bit on offense this year, but they put their best game against the Detroit Lions,
And
and the Lions.
they had all their weapons this time. We thought he was going to be without Jimmy Graham.
Correct. They had Jimmy Graham, but Jimmy Graham was held without a catch. That is a testament to the Lions defense right there. And I really think they pulled a page out of the Lions playbook and just used him more as a decoy rather than a vital part of the offense. But I mean, the Lions defense just pulled a massive. They just were. They were mass. They were a little bit underdogs, and I would say in that matchup against a Saints offense that's really good. The defense really played well. The part that is not playing well, but still somehow pulled it out in the end, is the Lions offense. And you gotta give it up to Matt Stafford. He didn't play really well the entire game, and then the last 4 minutes of that game, he puts it together and throws 2 touchdown passes.
Yeah, and the Golden Tate one. I call my play of the week. I would call my play of the week for offense because I'm going to be honest, the best play of this entire week, and I'm not even going to go Peyton Manning bandwagon because the team we're going to talk about later had my play of the week. You know which one it is, Bill. But
Oh man.
that was special teams. But among
Yep.
offense, this was the best touchdown of the week. Tell him what Golden Tate did, Bill.
He basically caught the football 2 yards away from Matt Stafford and ran it past 6 New Orleans Saints defenders for a touchdown.
He beat the entire secondary by himself.
He did. And that's what's scary about this team is that they can get a huge play from Golden Tate at any time. And that's a person that the Lions made a sneaky steal in getting. He's very, very good. And just imagine when Calvin comes back, when Fourier comes back, when Ebron comes back, when Reggie Bush is 100%, when Joik Bell's there. Just imagine when they have all their parts together. That New York Giant game at the very beginning of the year is what I expect with a very dangerous defense. They can go far.
They
They
still, well, I'll continue.
they should be 6-1 right now.
They should have been because they shouldn't have lost to the Bills. I mean, they could have beat the Panthers, but I'm not sure. But I think this is what I'm thinking. Can we just name all of these offensive players after Transformers? Like seriously, I know he's called Golden Tate, but I just want to call him Starscream. And
Oh
Eric, and
man.
if you look at Eric Ebron's Twitter, he has like Optimus Prime in his background. So it's like you have both the Autobots and the Decepticons on your team. Nobody's gonna stop you.
And the one person that no one ever talks about, Brandon Pettigrew. What would he be? Well, actually, all he would be is more a Butterfingers, candy bar, really, because he the easiest catches he just drops. And I don't even know why, but so many amazing players for the Lions. Even Kyle Fuller. Where did we get that guy? I don't even know when he was on the Lions depth chart until he caught that football.
hmm That last touchdown was a clutch. And then
And
they would have gotten taken out of the game earlier, but that they had that holding call or pass interference call from Bush by Bush.
yep,
Because I did not know Reggie Bush used to be with the Saints.
correct. He was the number 2 overall pick. The number 1 overall pick that year was Mario Williams by the Houston Texans.
He's not with them anymore, though. I don't think.
Correct.
I'm not surprised.
He was a defensive end. He left to go with Buffalo.
Huh.
In fact, I still think he's playing in Buffalo.
I think he is because I think they mentioned it.
I mean, but to be fair, Drew Brees had a chance at the end, and the Lions defense strangled that. They strangled those final 3 drives of the Saints.
Yes.
They strangled it.
The secondary did really well there, and that's exactly how I expect them to do every game. But it's like they put him in tight coverage. He couldn't throw the ball properly, and then there's the only one first down because he ran it in himself.
The number 1 offense with the most QB pressures is the Detroit Lions.
They
So,
they knocked the Drew Brees out, and now he's gonna be pissed for next week's game. We'll get to that in the picks, but still nobody scored above 24 points. Panthers tied for that, and uh, um, the Saints were
no,
just 1 point away from tying that. So yeah.
yeah, very good defense. But kind of, I don't know. That's all I can really think of to say for the Lions. I mean, it was a really well played game there, but it came down to just that final 4 minutes, and the final 4 minutes kind of. But one last thing before I tie a ribbon on this, can I just say that whoever plays the Lions and the Lions themselves, they have. It's like the curse of the kicker this year. Both the Saints guy kicked one off the upright, and so did Matt Prater of the Lions. Both good, both hit the uprights. It's like a curse or something. And
Now I'm wondering if Dan Bailey does that, and if he messes it up too. If they play the Lions again, then we'll know it's a curse because Dan Bailey almost never misses. He is the best kicker in the league, and like about damn time. But the last thing I'm going to say about this game, or it's about the Lions in general, they can win without Megatron. There's proof of that now. This is the proof of that. You don't. I'm not saying you don't need him. It's nice to have him, but it isn't impossible to win without him.
right,
You know what I mean? But the other thing was they started running the football. They got about 54 yards and the touchdown. That's an okay start, but I'm really hoping for this next week's game against the Falcons. They need to run that football more because this is their last shot at practice for it before they start to go up against better teams again. Because the Falcons are an even bigger glass cannon of a team than the Saints. But these guys have the second or third worst defense in the league, and their offensive line is trash. But we'll get to that in the picks.
true.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But otherwise, Falcons would have been at least 3-3.
Oh, the Falcons. The Falcons are in some serious trouble. I think their coach is getting fired after this year.
Oh yeah. But we'll get to that in the picks, or not that part, but just the Falcons again. Next, we're gonna go to New York Giants at Dallas. Fox is America's game of the week. I was listening to a Dallas podcast, and they were saying that they found people from Germany and London over there, and the guy from London's like, I already got my tickets for the Jacksonville Dallas game. So it's like, wow, there are people come from other countries to see teams after all. I don't know about the
Yes.
other teams, but I mean, I'm not surprised if they like other teams like the Giants or the Patriots. Are.
Let's just let's just put it this way. American football is a growing sport in Europe.
Yeah, nobody wants to admit it though.
Correct. Because like America, no one's gonna admit that, soccer is growing or anything in America or any other sport that's played in other countries. No one in this country is gonna admit it.
Neither
You
of
know,
them. It's like it's kind of like it's kind of like, oh, what would it be? Not peer. It's kind of like peer pressure, but it's like you don't want to admit it because you fear that people will mock you for it. You know what I mean?
right. Like in Europe, well, I like if you go to a British sports bar and you go, "Oh, I like American football," and other people are like, "What's that?" and just start laughing at you, and you're treated like an outcast.
Yeah.
You know, like if you go to a sports bar here in the United States, and it's the World Series tonight, and I mean, and you go, "Well, where's the soccer game?"
Yeah.
I mean, people will look at you and start laughing at you. Like, really?
But I think it'll grow, especially because they keep playing at least 3 games a year, and I bet Lions are going to get fans after this week. Is this their first trip to London?
This is the first time that the Lions have played in London.
Or yeah, that's going to be great. They should
This is the first year that there's 3 games in London.
string. They're going to go every year.
Oh, they've been going every year for the last 5.
But no, I'm hoping they get some fans out of there. It's nice to get more fans on this team. You know.
But recently it's only been 1 game in London per year.
Yeah. Now
This year-
it's 3.
This year it's 3. It's only a precursor to London getting a team. I can see London getting a team.
I'm not looking forward to that. I mean, the players disagree because it's like that, just flying to and from, regardless of who's going where. It's just that jet lag is gonna really get to you.
It really doesn't matter. I mean, in the end, what's good for business is good for business.
I know. I just
You know?
I won't like it though. I mean, I'm cool with the one
I-
for a few teams every year, but
I
yeah.
think it'd be really cool, to be honest. Who are you facing? Oh, I'm playing the London Monarchs.
I'm not surprised if they go with a team like that.
And then they just have a jersey with Queen Elizabeth's face on it.
Oh my god.
But-
It'd probably be just a crown.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
yeah, getting to the actual game. It was really close at first, and you can't really say that either of the quarterbacks did bad.
True.
You would argue Romo did worse because he got an interception, and it led to
That's great.
yeah, and it turned into a touchdown.
But like we said last week, in fact, it was last week or the week before. When would you rather have an interception? At the beginning of the game or at the end of the game?
At the beginning,
I would take it. You always take it at the beginning because you can always fight back from it.
you got plenty of time to strike back, and yeah, they took advantage of it.
Exactly. And to be fair, I expected the Giants to come out really motivated, and they came out motivated, and they played really well.
They didn't get shut out at all like the Eagles. That's why people were saying who's better, the Cowboys or the Eagles? Because the Eagles shut them out.
Exactly. I'll put it this way. I still think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win this division.
Really? But I mean, it just depends. I mean, I can see them both winning once against each other, but it's really who they lose to as well. Because remember, the Eagles still have to play. They still have to play other teams as well. But I mean, they won against the Colts, though. I'm not sure if they should have won that.
Right, but
That win's a win.
a win is a win is a win is a win.
Yeah, Eagles have the Cardinals, and this will be a true test because they're going over there, and it's just a matter: if the Cardinals stop them at the beginning, that's it for them. But that's what I'm saying. I think they'll beat each other once, but it's the other games that are going to matter. I have no doubt they'll win all their division games except each other.
True.
But Cowboys did really well. They ran the ball. I was a little worried about Murray when he kind of twisted his foot there. I hope he's not injured.
He said in a very curt, very uh, candidly curt manner. He's like, so a reporter asked him, well, "How's your tweaked ankle?" He goes, "I'm fine."
Yeah, that's what Romo. That's what Romo said last year when they hit him on the back or whatever, and then
He goes,
he had to get surgery.
yeah, I, I mean, really, right now, DeMarco's really the only player you can trust in that backfield, because if the other player gets put in, you never know if he's gonna still be there, because Lance Dunbar was arrested.
No, it's not Lance Dunbar. You're thinking of somebody else, Joseph or something Randall.
Oh, okay.
Number two.
One of the running backs was arrested.
It was Randall, I believe. Number is 21. He's the one that got
I don't-
arrested. He got paid the fine, and then they said if you do it again, you better not do it again. They just made Garrett made an example out of him in the locker room.
Yeah, but I mean, the Cowboys they're walking on thin ice, because you can't have one of your backups doing that either.
It was humiliating, but they have to move on. They have to get better from that, and they did. They were able to take care of business. I actually predicted the score 31-21. I got it right.
Oh man, the the Dallas Cowboys, though, if you look at the numbers and postulate 10 extra, if Tony Romo and them stay off the field and not run the football like they've been running it, if you postulate the numbers for the defense and use statistics and probability to increase the numbers, it would be on par with last year's defense. Basically, what's happening with the defense is that they're playing decently, but not great, and that really the thing that's helping them out is Murray running the football and them eating away at the clock.
And not only that, tiring the opponent's defense.
Exactly.
And then what else was it? Keeping obviously the opponent's offense off the field.
So I mean, while they're 6-1, they still need to work on that defense. Even though it looks good, it might not be as good as we all think it is.
It's not Broncos good. Because
Yeah.
you know what I think it is? They're not even going. They rarely get any sacks.
I would put it this way: if it was Denver against Dallas in the Super Bowl, the Denver Broncos would crush them.
Especially when they're on offense.
Exactly.
I don't know how that will be, because I have no doubt the Broncos can easily win the Super Bowl, but just the AFC looks so tight and destructive. I don't know who's going to really come out. You can't definitely say the Broncos will. You know what I mean? It's football.
I'm gonna put it this way: I can see the AFC title game being Denver against Indy very easily in Denver.
Mm-hmm. It's just that I think Indy is improving more, so it's not going to be the same. It's not going to turn out possibly the same way. I mean, I'm not saying that the Broncos will lose, but it's just not. They better not get ahead of themselves.
Right, but back to the Dallas Cowboys. The bow on this game, though, was that they owned the time of possession, and that really hurt the Giants and Eli Manning. And another thing that hurt the Giants and Eli Manning was not having Victor Cruz in the game, someone reliable, that Eli has been working with for years.
Yeah, and because of that, or on the other side, Des Bryant had a great day.
Yeah, Desi Des went off.
He nearly got a touchdown, if only his knee didn't reach the ground.
Right, but still, DeMarco got it, and
he's okay with it. I mean, he got 125 yards. That's great for him. He doesn't get as much like he should.
To be fair, I if I was Des Bryant, I would not want to be put in harm's way as much as he has been the last few years, because he's been, when they haven't run the football as much as they have. Look at what happened. DeMarco Murray got hurt a lot, got injured when they weren't running the football, and look at who else got hurt. Des Bryant and Tony Romo. You saved Tony Romo from dropping back extra times. You saved Des Bryant from the extra hits, and DeMarco Murray's getting hit more, but his body is more used to taking the hits.
Yeah, I give him credit for that.
And he's protecting himself. He's going down quicker. He's not fighting for extra yards. He's just going down.
The most I've seen him do is go the stiff arm, and he's got a good stiff arm. I've never seen anyone really get past that so quickly. But
if you really notice DeMarco, he gets down. He doesn't try to fight for the extra yards. He just he's like, okay, this play's dead. Let's stop moving the legs. Let's drop down. Save yourself from injury. Run the next play.
Yeah, the last thing I'm going to say about Dallas is, again, on the defense. They did good in stripping the ball away on the same guy twice. I think they know, since they can't really sack the QB, all they can do is put pressure on him, which is still good, because it can lead to picks. But I think that what they need to try and get someone who you know who I'm going to say, to try and maybe get a sack or two. You know who I'm thinking of?
Mr. McLean?
No, well, he can get sacks, but I think he's better also in the secondary. But
right.
I'm talking about someone who can be on defensive end.
Oh.
He's on the practice squad right now. It's only it's a matter of time, Bill.
Michael Sam.
Yes, I think if he comes, he will be the next DeMarcus Ware for Dallas. I don't know about potential, but I'm just saying he'll be like the DeMarcus Ware of the team, the one who gets the most sacks.
To be fair, the defensive end that replaced him has been getting on St. Louis. The guy that was picked ahead of Michael Sam has been getting lots of penalties. So I think St. Louis kind of regrets that decision.
Oh yeah, well, I thought Michael Sam was talented when I first heard of him, when they were talking about the controversy. We already talked about homosexuality and this on the podcast, but yeah, you already know our thoughts on Michael Sam. But I'm just saying, it's a matter of time before he comes, and he can come anytime in the season, or he might start next year. I'm okay with either or. Just don't leave this guy. He needs to play for a team, and I think he's better for the Cowboys.
All he needs to do is work on getting better, and once he works on just playing, all the chips will fall into place.
Yeah, and they got themselves a good defense when they can put pressure on the quarterback and possibly get a sack. But anyway,
like Tom Brady was a second-string quarterback, barely made the team, and look at what happened. He turned into a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yep, he's got the 5th most touchdowns.
5th most touchdowns in NFL history.
Yep. He's way far from Peyton Manning.
No one's breaking that Manning record. He could easily hit 600.
I know, that's incredible. Let's move on to the next game, the one I didn't like. Houston at Pittsburgh. It was going well. They started strong, but this is the problem now. They flipped the situation. They started strong and they couldn't end strong.
Oh man, that That was probably one of the nicest starts of a game for the Houston Texans, and then they just totally blew it.
So many turnovers. And then,
To
just go on, Bill. I think you were saying
just
something.
just two Ryan Fitzpatrick needs to work on looking off safeties and looking off linebackers. I mean, Brett Kiesel is not exactly the fastest guy. He's like 35 years old. You shouldn't allow a 35-year-old slowpoke to intercept you.
That was the fastest. Okay, again, someone scored 24 unanswered points on them in a single quarter.
Yep.
This one's only the second. That's bad. This was even faster than the Colts could ever do. They scored it
Yeah.
on. They scored it in 3 minutes or so, like 4 or 5 minutes. That was
And
impressive and scary.
the other thing is that Houston made Pittsburgh's offense look like it was the New Orleans Saints or the Detroit Lions or something. You know, putting up that many points that fast. That doesn't happen very often for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're not known to be an explosive team like that. So that's not a good thing for the defense. They really it's like JJ Watt's on the field by himself
Yeah, and
right now.
on that final touchdown that they got, they actually brought J.J. Watt, and it was going to be aimed for him, but he switched it to Foster. That's how they got that last touchdown in. But he was right there.
Yep.
He was nearly open. He was just in between people.
Yep.
I think they immediately knew they were going for him, but yeah, you do that, you double cover Watt. Yeah, that's what happened.
Right.
Foster was open.
I mean, you leave your most talented people out on the field, and if you double stack them, who are you gonna cover? Arian Foster or J.J. Watt? J.J. Watt can catch that football very well for a defensive end.
He's a
And
giant, man.
he's a giant. That's a matchup nightmare. I mean, who you done put on him? And then you have Arian Foster, a nimble, fast running back who can cut like crazy. I mean, who do you cover in that situation?
You're forgetting the other side. They were already focusing on DeAndre Hopkins, who fumbled the ball when he got midfield. That was a great run, but he fumbled it. He should have just ducked. Like when you're in the 5 minutes, you get the yards you know you're gonna get, then you duck, and then you take,
Yeah,
and you keep that ball.
He kept running, and then he's trying to run with a guy draped over him and gets the ball ripped out of his hands. I mean, literally, he just had it ripped right out of his hands.
I think he forgot about basic no huddle plays. You take the yards you can get, and then you just stop, especially with the time against you, or you run out of bounds. But she couldn't have done that. But you know what I mean?
But Houston just played a sloppy game in the second quarter, and that second quarter killed them.
It's funny because usually the second quarter is where they shine more.
Exactly. The second quarter, the last like 5 minutes of the second quarter really hurt their chances at winning that game. According to, percentages throughout the game, the Texans had a 83% chance of winning, and then Ryan Fitzpatrick threw that interception and was like down to 67%.
And then at the end, I mean, I will say that onside kick was good. They had a chance at taking it, but they were so clusterfucked. It was hard to determine who would actually get it, which the Steeler got it.
Yeah, that onside kick almost worked in the Texans'
They
favor.
just would have been in a bad spot.
And they almost came back and won that game.
I know. So that's the thing. And here's what nobody really talks about. Like last year in that terrible season, most of those games that they lost, except for a few, like maybe the rematch with the Colts and the 49ers, it was a one touchdown difference, like 6 points.
Right.
Most of those games were winnable. It's not like they lost them terribly. And the same thing goes with this 3-game losing streak. they were all winnable.
It just feels like the last 2 years with the Texans that they've just been imploding on. They start out hot and they implode every game, or they implode at the beginning of the game and then can't dig themselves out of the hole that they've imploded themselves into.
I'm impressed that the Steelers were able to stop Arian Foster, strip the ball away from him when on that second quarter on, because he couldn't get much done. I'm surprised because they have one of the worst rush stop defenses in the league. The worst is Green Bay.
Green Bay. Oh man.
I hope
Green Bay's defense.
I actually, Bill, I know you're gonna get mad, but I hope the Green Bay Packers get in a wild card spot so that way they won't play Dallas. Fuck.
Yeah, if Dallas goes 12-4 and wins the division, they could get one of the top 2 seeds and would have a week off.
If they get 3 or 4, then I hope the Packers play them because the Packers will get annihilated at their place. It won't be like last year, but anyway. Clowney was nearly ready for this game, but it was a last-minute call not to, and I'm okay with that because I don't want him to risk hurting himself so soon. They've got a shorter week, but I think he'll be ready for the Titans game, and he'll get back into the swing of things, and then they'll have to play the Eagles, which that'll be a true test of the defense, but we'll see about how that goes. My only final thoughts is that I remember exactly why I hated the Steelers in the past. I remembered. You know how I used to not like them because how much they wrecked the Cowboys. Even if the Cowboys won, so many injuries because they were so physical and brutal, and merciless. They weren't brutal. They didn't injure the whole damn team yesterday. They're still not like that. No, I mean they got hurt more than us, but. I'm really hoping the Ravens kick their asses again, and the Bengals. Like just do what the Browns did to them, please. I don't want these guys in. I fucking hate the Steelers. I remember exactly why. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Next, let's go to the what?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Next, we're gonna go to the game. I asked Bill because this game I got to see it because originally the Panthers and the Green Bay and the Packers were playing, but you saw how that turned out. So they said, you know what? Let's switch over to a game that's actually interesting for faraway viewers, and they chose St. Louis and the Seahawks. And
oh man,
I would have rather got Detroit, but this one was okay too, because my God, special teams. This showed you can't ignore special teams.
Correct. Because in the end,
the Rams.
The Rams put it to the Seattle special teams, and that was the difference in the game. The special teams won the game for the St. Louis Rams, but really, the entire Rams team won it for the Rams, including the defense, which kind of got torched by Russell Wilson, but really, Russell Wilson was doing it all by himself. I mean, literally, he put the team on his back and willed that team to be near the Rams. Really, that game wasn't even close.
Yeah, and really, you look at the stats, you would think, if you looked at the stats and didn't look at the score at all, you would think, okay, the Seahawks had to have decimated like the Rams. But no, the Rams, because special teams does matter. Because it can.
To be fair, if you look at the stats, the only reason why Russell Wilson was passing for so much was that they were already down so much. I mean, the Rams have a good young quarterback, like I was saying last year with the Houston Texans and Case Keenum. I still think Case Keenum would be a better starter in the NFL than Ryan Fitzpatrick right now. And I believe the same thing in Austin Davis. Austin Davis is a bona fide star in the making if he continues to develop the way he's developing. He's developing into a really good quarterback, and it would be idiotic to... the Rams need to get rid of Sam Bradford, and the phone's ringing. Hold on.
Okay. We have to take a break, so just give it a minute. Alright, we're back. Bill had business to take care of. But,
Yep.
Okay. Since I think I forgot exactly what you were saying, we'll just talk about what the actual special plays were. The one I say play of the week is the Rams' strategy to punt returning. The Seahawks punted to them, but they had their actual punt returner go to one side because the kicker has this curve to it, making it look like he's going one way, and all the Seahawks flocked over there, but except for one. The one Ram on the other side caught the ball and ran over before everybody could figure it out, and ran in all the way for a touchdown untouched.
Right. It it was perfectly set up because all the Rams defenders ran to that side of the field, which forced all the Seahawks defenders to go after him. And the really weird, crazy thing is no one knew where the football was except for two people: the Seattle gunner and the Seattle punter. And I feel like it's a breakdown in communication in the special teams, especially between the punter and the actual, front line guys running down the field. Because really, it's kind of inexcusable to allow. Basically, all it was is that he pantomimed the catch. You know? I mean, just imagine had that poor guy, got blown up. The guy that was trying to catch the phantom ball. Just imagine had the Seattle guy got there and just nailed him.
Yeah. But, I mean, he already had some people protecting him anyway. They were running with him. So he was good.
Right. But the thing about it is that was one of the two special teams plays of the week. Because I would say that play was probably... It's tied for the best play of the week in my eyes. Because the second best, the second play from that same game, was the fake punt at the very end of the game. If he doesn't complete that football, if he throws it low, he throws it outside, he throws it anywhere, it's Seattle's football, and they kick a field goal and win that game.
I think they knew. I think the coaches knew. It's like, you know what? Even if we kick it all the way over there, there's no hell in way our entire defense is going to stop them. Especially Russell Wilson, who's still not stopping anytime soon. He's not showing signs of wear and tear. So I think they decided, fuck it, let's do it.
The St. Louis Rams gutted out a win in a very difficult division. That division is going to be brutal. But, speaking of brutal, it's got to be brutal for Seattle fans to watch their defense, which was the best in the league last year, to be nowhere near what they used to be. The Legion of Boom is not even the Legion of Boom. Hell, they're not even the Legion of Doom.
Well, they are slowly falling into that same thing where whoever wins the Super Bowl can't even make the playoffs the year after.
Right. They got rid of Golden Tate. They got rid of Percy Harvin. Who does Russell Wilson really have to throw to besides Doug Baldwin? You take away Doug Baldwin, you take away Marshawn Lynch, what is that team? That team is going to rely even more on a defense that can't get to the quarterback, and it can't. And once they can't get those rushers in on the quarterback, I mean, this team's in trouble. Richard Sherman is in trouble. That whole team's in trouble, and they need a massive win this week. And maybe we might be seeing that, but I'll defer for that until the picks.
Hmm. I I I I I love laughing at that damn coach from the Seahawks though. I don't like coaches. Some coaches, obviously, you know what, we don't like Jim Schwartz for being a prick. I don't like Rob Ryan, the one that used to be with the Cowboys. That's him, right? Or was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't
Yep.
like him. He likes rubbing it in the Cowboys' face when he beat them last year. He's like, oh, if you could have done that to them this year. They were decimated. But I don't like the Seahawks one at all. I don't know why. He just bothers me. I would not like the Colts one either, but then it's like, oh, he's a cancer survivor. How could you? Trust me, that will happen in today's society. But I don't like this one. What's his name? I forget his name. He just bothers me.
Oh, the coach of Seattle,
Yeah.
Pete Carroll.
Yeah, he bothers me. But
I
he
mean,
was trying to say that
I,
they called a fair catch. No, no, he didn't. He didn't even raise his hands up. He just tripped to get just to
I mean,
what?
Pete Carroll really doesn't bother me. Really, the only coaches in the NFL that bother me: Rex Ryan, Rob Ryan, Jim Harbaugh, and Jim Schwartz. But he's not even a real coach; he's a coordinator.
Yep. I don't know. I don't know why I don't like Coach Carroll. I just don't get why. Just part of him, something about him bothers me. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things like I don't like you, but I don't really know why exactly. It's just something about you rubs me the wrong way.
Right? Yeah.
But
Exactly.
I mean, it's not like I don't hate. It's the same thing with some players. I don't like Colin Kaepernick. I still don't know why. I don't like Drew Brees, or I don't actually don't like. As a person, he seems like a cool guy, but I just don't like this team. I don't like the Saints.
Right.
You know what I mean? Uh,
I gotcha.
and of course, I don't like Richard Sherman. I think he was vastly overrated last year.
I mean, it's easy to play for the best defense when the front line's doing all the work for you.
Yep. But yeah, I think that's all I need to say. Anything else you want to add on about anything to note about this week that also caught your eye?
Really, the only thing that caught my eye that really needs addressing in the off season is referees are throwing players out for inadvertently hitting the referee when he can't even see him. How is Luke Kuechly supposed to know that that's a referee that's grabbing him? You know, so
I think.
calm down with the flags and the ejections, there, referees. And also, in one of the other games, one of the referees' contacts fell out and the game was stopped. So you almost had a blind zebra on the field. So it, more referees need to be trained, and referees need to just take better classes because
who's going to be a referee? Who wants to grow up? I want to be a referee.
and one last thing is the referees are wearing headsets, and yet they all gather in a goddamn circle every goddamn call, and they're wearing these headsets that are supposed to allow them to talk to each other. Talk to each other using the headsets. Make it faster. Let's do this.
We have the technology. Like, we can rebuild this. We have the technology, but they don't utilize it. But yeah, I understand because the refs said sometimes they make stupid calls. Still, but I don't know.
Oh man.
The things that I want to note is that yeah, Cowboys are leading the division, but they had a bye. Because everybody said, "Oh, Cowboys are the greatest team because they got the best record." It's like you're forgetting the Broncos had a bye a while back. The Eagles had a bye this week. So, yeah, right now they're number one. But even if everybody kept winning their games, let's say those three never lost for the next few weeks. And once the Cowboys get their bye, it'll all be evened up. So that's where you start going statistical. So yeah, people are saying the Cowboys are number one right now. I don't think that's true. The way I'll know if they have the legitimate shot out of all these games, the one I'll know for certain is the one that even I don't know how it'll turn out. You know, I mentioned a lot the Colts playing them because it's going to be a shootout. And yeah, if they could beat them, I think they are having a good shot because like you said, the Colts are likely going to go to the AFC Championship or possibly the Super Bowl. Well, I said that last part, but you know what I mean. It's like you got to beat a really, really good team like the Colts right now. Then you'll have your answer.
Right.
But anything else? The Browns. The Browns got decimated. I'm not gonna make
really.
I'm not gonna make fun of the Jags today. I'm not.
They're one loss from another bad team away from starting Johnny Manziel.
Did they actually say that?
I feel like that's what's going to happen. Brian Hoyer played like absolute trash.
Poor guy. And that's because what happened? Didn't like Bortles actually get picked 3 times?
He got picked 3 times. He overthrew an open Jordan Cameron in the end zone.
Oh my god.
I mean, he was wide open, and he overthrew him from 5 yards away.
That's true.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the Lions kicker situation, shanking kicks left from 20 yards away. But I feel like Hoyer's a bad game away from being pulled by the against the Raiders. If he plays like garbage against the Raiders, and it's in Cleveland, and they are going to boo him and start chanting, "We want Manziel."
And I won't be surprised if Manziel comes in after they lose that one. But I mean, I don't know. They could win it, but I'll let my thoughts get for the picks there. And there's one last game that I did want to make a note of. Let me see. I want to make sure if the score.
We should just make a note of next Thursday's game because I might not be ready to do the thing.
I forgot to do it last week, but I wanted to say it this I wanted to say that too. So don't worry. The last thing I want to say is my God, Indy is just it's like Indy's really building up a snowball of a storm of a fierce team because they just shut out the Bengals. I didn't see that coming.
No. I feel like their defense is improving.
That's why I said. That's why I said they could possibly beat the Broncos if they play again. But let's go to the picks. You ready? Start us off, Phil.
Thursday night game: San Diego Chargers at the Denver Broncos.
Okay, if the Chargers won last week's game, I would say they could win this, but I don't think so this time. But who knows? Last year they put the Broncos in their place at their place. So I'm going with the Broncos this time.
I feel like the Denver Broncos have a better defense and a better offense from last year. And I'm going to say that they have a better offense from last year. And that's scary. And I feel like the Broncos are going to be an unstoppable team the rest of the year. The Broncos will beat the Chargers. All right. The Sunday morning when I'm not going to be up, when my Detroit Lions play the Atlanta Falcons in London.
Bill, first off, set that alarm clock, man. You got the alarm clock. Someone in your house has to.
I have the alarm clock. It's just I don't know if I want to get up that early to watch a football
Bill,
game.
this is the Lions, and you need to see them decimate the Falcons. This is where the Lions are going to get their act together. They're going to run the football more, and Matt Ryan's going to get sacked so many times. It might possibly. I'm not saying it's gonna. I'm not gonna try and exaggerate as much as I always do. They might either get nearly as much as the Vikings game, or as much as the Viking game, or even more, because that offensive line is trash. And
Right. So
so I'm going Lions just because they have the ultimate defense right now. It might go like the last London game. The Dolphins just decimating the Raiders. In fact, I'm gonna call the same score.
oh damn.
Okay, let's go to the next game.
I'm I'm going. You know who I'm
Yeah.
going.
Oh yeah.
Lions.
Yeah.
Next up, the Minnesota Vikings at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The fight of all time.
I'm going with the Buccaneers. I don't know if you call it an upset or not because the Vikings played well last week, but I think the Bucks are going to buckle down and get their next win. Just because they know they're not going to win that many games, so for these games that are actually winnable, you damn well put your best. So I'm going with the Buccaneers. I don't know if you call it an upset, but I've got 4 upsets this week, and I don't want to go overboard.
I I'm not calling it an upset. I feel like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the better team. Buccaneers went easy against the Vikings. Vikings couldn't even beat the Bills even when they had the lead. Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets.
This is one of my upsets of the week, if you want to call it that. I think the Jets played really well against the Patriots at home. In fact, when they play again, I'm going to say the Jets are probably going to win if they keep it up. And now they got Percy Harvin, and if he gets targeted and does well, who knows? They might just give the Bills a shock. So I'm going with the Jets for my first upset of the week.
I am also going the Jets. I feel like Rex Ryan in his pregame handshake is going to trip and fall and smash Jim Schwartz into the ground.
You just want them both to take each other out.
And then Jim Schwartz will not be on the sideline, and he won't be able to call
Oh,
defense, and therefore the Jets will win. Geno Smith will just laugh his way to the bank, and and plus they're playing in New York. The Buffalo Bills are just they played pretty bad against the Vikings, and the Jets might be one of those teams playing for their head coach to I just feel like Jets will win.
one more thing. Jim Schwartz is going to be carried off the field in a stretcher.
Uh,
Oh, but okay, the Jets are going to run the ball more. I forgot to mention that. They're going to run the ball more.
I'm just gonna put it in your mind. Just imagine, Jim Schwartz as a cartoon character is one of those accordions. All right. So next up, the Chicago Bears at the New England
Oh
Patriots.
God, do you really need to ask me? Patriots, they're going to outplay Cutler, and then that defense is just going to put into tight man-to-man coverage and possibly get a pick off of him. And Brady's going to have another good day. I'm going more than 25 points for the Patriots. Bears maybe will get a touchdown. Maybe. Going Patriots.
I'm going Patriots. They're playing in New England. Tom Brady never loses there, and the Bears, they have discord going full on right
You're
now.
okay with that.
Yeah, they're yelling at each other, and I'm cool with that. They can keep yelling at each other all year. Next up, the Seattle Seahawks at the Carolina Panthers.
Okay, I don't know. I honestly don't know who to pick here. I want to go with my guts and say the Seahawks. But we did that last week, and you know how it turned out.
I am going to pick this as my upset of the week. The Carolina Panthers will defeat the Seattle Seahawks, and the Panthers will shut them out.
You're going with a shutout. Wow. That's a bold call, Bill. You know what? I'm going to jump on that bandwagon. I'm going to go with the Panthers. I'm going to stick with what I hoped for the past couple weeks. Panthers with an upset. I don't know if I'm not calling it an upset. I think it's just going to be a really close game, maybe. But the Panthers going to win the last few minutes. And Cam Newton going to get over 100 yards and rushing and a touchdown.
Here we go. The next one up, Dolphins at Jaguars.
Oh God, do you need to ask me on this one too? I've got the Dolphins. They're gonna go on a roll, just like they did to Chicago. They're gonna do to Jacksonville. There's going to be a pick
Oh my
six
God.
involved for from what's his name, Blake Bortles. But I still think the Dolphins have this in the bag. They're not dead yet in that division. I'm going Dolphins.
The Dolphins easily win against the Jaguars. That I'm not even dignifying that game with a response for anything. The Jaguars are the Jaguars. They shouldn't have won last week. Next up, the Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay, this is what I believe to be my second upset of the week. If you want to call it that too. This one I don't know if I call it that because the Bengals have been more inconsistent now. It's like first it was the Steelers, now it's the Bengals. I think everybody's going to get a share of that the inconsistency train. Just waiting for the Ravens to get it next. So Bengals, I think they're going to get their first big loss at their place. Ravens too hot to handle. The Bengals defense can't contain it. Ravens.
Ravens, I'm going Ravens too because I feel like the Ravens smell blood in the water, and this is about. They would have a 2-game lead on Cincinnati Bengals if they win.
Yep.
So, next up, the Houston Texans against the Tennessee Titans.
I actually told you last week, Bill, that I was pissed that this game wasn't airing. I checked the local listings. Yeah, now they fixed it. It's like they listen to me complaining all the time. I've got
man.
Texans. I'm hoping Clowney returns. He should, which I'm okay with. But the coach said that he's liking Whitney Merciless more. But I don't know. I'm still going with the Texans regardless. The Titans just haven't been doing it. And if they lose this game, I can guarantee you Ryan Mallett is coming out the weeks after.
This is a no-brainer for me. It's the Houston Texans. If they lose to the Titans, I can almost see a riot happening in Houston.
Oh yeah, and yeah, I still think Mallett is coming out the next week after against the Eagles.
Next up, ooh, this is a good one. St. Louis Rams at the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, I can't. I'm sorry, but the Chiefs are going to stop the Rams. I want the Rams to win, but I don't think they'll do it. The Chiefs are really underrated this year. They're doing a lot better than I expected. I did not expect them to play such close football. I'm going with the Chiefs.
I'm going with the proven commodity at quarterback, and that's the Chiefs as well. But I can easily see the Rams winning this game.
I hope so. Their special teams got to step up, but they're not going to try that trick again anytime soon.
Here's another good one. Philadelphia Eagles at the Arizona Cardinals.
Here's my third upset of the week. This one's an actual upset. Cardinals. If they can stop the Eagles at the beginning, they've got it. You gotta hold them up all the way to the end, from start to finish, and I think the Cardinals defense can do that. Nick Foles is gonna prove to be just as inconsistent as Kirk Cousins this week, and he's gonna get picked off. I'm going Cardinals.
I'm a sucker for punishment, and I'm going with the Eagles. Even though I agree with most of that, I can see this being one of those shootout style games, and whoever has the ball last wins.
Ugh. I mean, it's Battle of the Birds, so it's gonna be good.
Next up, Indianapolis Colts at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh god, the Steelers think they're hot shit because of that win. Oh no, you're not even close to the Colts right now. The Colts, Andrew Luck's gonna have fun. He's gonna have 4 touchdowns this week. I'm going with the Colts.
The Steelers are going to get humiliated at home by the Colts. Colts easy.
Oh yeah.
Next up, the Oakland Raiders at the Cleveland Browns.
Here's my fourth and final upset.
Oh god.
The Raiders are going Derek Carr, nobody's talking about him that much, but he's improving. He's I don't know if he's about as good as say who's the other rookie? Austin Davis, but he's also a good young up and coming quarterback, and I think he's going to actually outplay the Ryan Hoyer. Manziel's coming out after all this time. The wait is nearly over. I've got the Raiders for their first win of the season.
And I'm gonna stupidly pick the Cleveland Browns. I feel like Brian Hoyer's gonna tighten his grip on the job just that way, to spite Cleveland fans. Poor Cleveland. All they want to see is Mansell come out, and I think he's gonna do. I think Brian Hoyer's gonna play well to spite everyone.
Oh yeah, I could understand that. I mean, it's like with Tannehill and Dolphins played the Raiders. If he lost that game, he was going to lose his job, and he played at his best. So yeah.
Next up, Green Bay. It's Sunday night. Green Bay Packers at the New Orleans
Oh
Saints.
God, do you? Okay, the Packers are going at this red hot too. Nowhere, not like the Colts, but the Saints are going to play better. This is their place. They never lose here, and the Packers could try, but I just don't think they're going to get it done here. Not with this hostile place to play in. I feel really bad for them, but then I don't.
The New Orleans Saints are going to torch those cheesehead hats,
Make nacho cheese?
and they're going to make they're gonna make s'mores and shit. They're going to win. I want it to be 41-0. I want to see Aaron Rodgers cry. Well, besides all the crying he does on the field every time he throws a football and it's incomplete. But next up, the Monday night game, the Washington Redskins at the Dallas Cowboys.
Colt McCoy might start this game if RG3 isn't healthy. Which I won't. I'll confess to you something, Bill. I'm going to be rooting for Colt McCoy. He was my favorite quarterback when I was watching college games. So it hurts that he's with another team I don't like. Why do they always put the players I like with teams I don't like? So yeah, but regardless, the Cowboys their running game doesn't intend to slow down anytime soon. I've got the Cowboys, but this should be a good game to watch.
Cowboys easy.
Oh yeah. All right, is that all?
All right.
All right. I had fun. Anything else you want to note, Bill?
Nothing
Oh,
much
oh,
except
oh,
for we
oh,
should talk about week
Yeah.
nine's Thursday
I just
night
remembered,
game.
like, yeah, we need to talk about this possibly in depth since it doesn't look like you're going to
And
be around.
Next Tuesday is not looking good.
Yeah, so
saying. It'll probably
let's
be.
go detailed Thursday night for next week. Just to be safe.
All right. Okay, so a little bit detailed. It's gonna be the New Orleans Saints against the Carolina Panthers next Thursday. And
you want to talk first, or you want me to?
I feel like the New Orleans Saints are going to come out after a win against the Green Bay Packers, and Carolina is going to be coming off of a shocking win, and I feel like New Orleans is going to this is going to be quite the fight. I feel like New Orleans' offense is going to torch the Carolina Panthers' defense. So the actual game itself, it looks very favorable for the Saints' offense.
I'm going with the shootout, actually. Well, I don't know if you call it a shootout, because Cam Newton's just going to run for the touchdowns himself. It's just a matter of who's going to fuck up at the end. So I think
Which defense, really?
I say Drew Brees is going to fuck up because he keeps screwing up at the end, and he seems to be keeping that trend more than Cam Newton. And you know what Cam Newton needs to do to win this? He needs to put a towel over his head just before the game starts. And he did when he did that a couple years ago. He started winning all his games. It's the good luck. Got to bring the good luck towel. So it's whoever fucks up first, or not first, at the end. That's going to determine who wins. But I'm going with the Panthers in a shootout or run out, whatever. All right.
Well, and my pick is on Thursday night. It's a thing called Devil's Night, and what do you need on Devil's Night? You need a saint, and I'm picking the Saints.
Oh, the Panthers. It's hard to stop them at night. I don't know. I'm going with animal jokes here. It failed. It's okay. Okay. All right, we got that. Now we're good. So yeah, this next week's podcast might come out late because Bill's gonna be busy for a while. It's a good thing we got this recording done.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, and there's nothing else you want to note, Bill?
Nothing else of note.
All right, I'm okay with that. So, that's all we gotta say. Feel free to share your picks, a pick or two, whatever, on the comments. And yeah, we'll see you guys in another video. Say goodbye, Bill.
Bye, everybody.
All right, we'll see you guys next week, possibly later. But at least we got next Thursday's game out. All right, later, guys.
Right.